Next up, we're going to learn how to wrap text and how to warp text. Wrapping text around objects is an easy thing to do in Illustrator. We can avoid text running over those objects or just simply create some interesting design ideas. Let's go to Artboard 2. And in Artboard 2, with our selection tool, we are going to click on this Omega badge down here. So I'm going to click to select it, and I'm going to zoom in on that a little bit. So one of the issues that we have here, I'm going to deselect it for a minute, is that our type runs into it and over it, and that's not good. So with that selected, we're going to come up to our menu and we're going to choose Object, and then, Text Wrap, Make. So we're saying we want to make this thing be a text wrap object. So that's our first step that we have to do. So to wrap text around it, the object must be on the same layer as the text, and the object must also be above it in the hierarchy. Let's look at our layer panel and see how we're doing with that. So here's the group. I can see it's highlighted here, so I know that's the badge. And it looks like everything is in layer 1, so there's no risk there. It's definitely where it needs to be. But the type is up here. I clicked on that and I can see that here's my type layer. Here's the shape itself, and it's below at the time. So with the badge selected, we want to bring that to the front. So we're going to use the Arrange button in the Properties panel, or we can do it through the menu up here, or we can do it through keyboard shortcuts. But in Arrange, we want to bring it all the way to the front. And look what happened. Now that our badge is at the top of the layer stack, it's above the text that it's displacing, for lack of a better word. The text wrap idea worked. It pushed all of the type around it. So the badge is now on top of the text in the stacking order, and the text now wraps around it. Let's fix this up a little bit. Let's go Object, Text Wrap, and now go into Options. By the way, here's Release if you want to let go of that feature. But in our Options, we have an offset. So that's how much space is given between here. And we're going to look at our preview. So 6 points. Look at, as I'm making that offset bigger and bigger and bigger, how it is kind of helping with this spacing issue. We still have this weird word tin over here, but again, this is lorem ipsum filler text, so I wouldn't worry about that too much. But we made this spacing much, much bigger. We're going to say okay to that, and then we're going to grab this badge and we're just going to move it a little bit so that we don't have all of these weird issues going on. So we just moved it up so that the text flows in a better way. So that is wrapping text around objects. It's very simple to do. You would never go in here and just hit the return to force this down, because if you changed your font or the sizing, that return would always be coded right here and it would cause big problems. So we use the text wrap instead. Another cool thing we can do is warp text, so we can get some great design effects. How we do this is we have the type itself, and then we have an envelope made out of an object on our artboard, which is basically the shape. So if our envelope is shaped like a heart and we had words inside of it, the words would have to flow to fit inside the heart shape. We can edit the shape, we can edit the text. So we need to work with envelope warps. So the cool thing is Illustrator comes with a bunch of presets and we can work with those. So I'm going to zoom out or to the whole document here. I don't know what this lorem ipsum is up here. I think that was an accident. I'm going to get rid of it. I'm going to click on the word grilled with my selection tool to select it, and I'm going to make a copy by Option or Alt on a PC, dragging down. So I have a copy of that same size and color font. We're going to select the Type tool, and we're going to double click inside this new word grilled that's going to highlight it all. And we are going to change the font family to Oswald. and it's going to be Oswald Light. And we're going to change it to 84 points in size. Just hit Tab. And with the text selected, we're going to actually rename or change what the words are. We don't want it to be grilled, we want it to be rainbow. Whoops, I'm typing in typing over here and I don't mean to. Nothing there. Come back over here, double click, we're going to type in, oh, I thought that would stay capitals, rainbow trouts. And yes, type in trouts, plural. All right. If you hit the escape key when you're working with type, the type tool, escape takes you out to the selection tool and puts your bounding box around it. So that's a nice keyboard shortcut. I'm just going to center it a little bit better here. With this text object selected, we're going to go up to the object menu and we're going to choose object, then envelope distort, and then we want to make with a warp. And this is going to pull up Illustrator's preset warps. So we see them here. Arc, lower arc, upper arc, shell bulge lower. I'm not sure why we're not getting a preview. I must just be really slow here. Come on, preview, show us. There we go. Fish, inflate. So you can kind of look around at these and see how they behave, play around with them. But when you are done, we're going to come back to arc upper and also look at the amount of bend and how that affects it, whether you're to the right or the left of the center point, and look at the horizontal and vertical options that you can pull here. So you can really do some crazy things. Let's make sure that we're all on the same page. Arc upper should be selected. Bend should be -15. I'm just going to type these in. And horizontal and vertical distortion should be both set at 0. Arc upper. Why do I have lower? Upper. What is going on? Arc upper. -15, 0, and 0. All right. We'll say okay to that. All right. If you click away and this is the look you have and you go, that's not quite what I meant to do, I want to do some changing here, we can always do that. We can edit the envelope warp by editing either the inside of it, the words itself, or the shape. So let's select this object again, and then let's go to the top of our properties panel and we see envelope. The first thing that has like a meshy thing says edit the envelope. The second one says edit the contents. That's the text inside. So we're going to switch to edit the contents. And we're going to go to our type tool. And we're going to come over here and notice that when we hover over it, it shows us the original type, which was a large 84-point type. It doesn't have any effects. And sometimes it's easier to see it in this blue outline and not edited. So we're going to click on and we're going to take out the letter S here. It should just be rainbow trout. So if we're happy with the way we edit the contents, that's great. We're going to switch back to our selection tool. And then we're going to come over to the top of our properties panel and we're going to edit the envelope itself. And in here, we're going to come over to the warp options button at the bottom of the properties panel. And this is the same thing we saw when we originally began here. We're going to style it to arc lower. That's what I thought it was going to be. We're going to change the bend to -12%, either with the slider or by typing, and everything else is fine. So we can tweak it, we can change our mind. And with our selection tool, we're going to attempt to center this on our artboard. Same with the words above it. All right. We can save at this point, and we are good through page 272. Oops, didn't mean to quite do that. Cancel. File, save as, 272. So that's kind of a cool design feature, design look that we were able to give that.